Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I've put this soft fabric cover onto the journal cover. So what I've done, I showed you this in the beginning. It was a piece of cardboard. I'll just take this off and show you. I doubled up some manila folder and I put some of this what's it called? It's some sort of curtain reinforcing that they use for curtaining, and I've put that on as my spine. Okay, and then I just let that dry and everything. So when you do this, like my pages are usually an A4 that's folded in half. But just remember, when you do this, you've got to give yourself a little spine space. Okay, you can't just fold. Like if I just folded this in an A4 size in half, once you get a signature in, it'll all start poking out because you haven't given it that spine space, if that makes sense. So you do have to make your journal cover, that's my A4, and I've given myself this much like width here to act as the spine. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So you do have to make this bigger than what your pages are going to be. Alright, so I remember I gave myself a little bit of space around my work. Oops, sorry I bumped you. Around my work to fold this fabric over. So I have done that. I've folded that over, and what I'll do is I'll have these clips on it. I've got other clips here, and I'm just sort of clipping it all the way round just to see how it's going to sit on here. What's that? A piece of string. And I just want to get it all in the right place. Okay, so that's going to be, I hope you can see all that on camera. I think I just bumped the camera. Sorry about that. Right, so it's going to be all folded around like this, around my cardboard cover. Right, and that's going to give me some stability. Now, what you need to do is leave these clips on, but just take half off. Like I'll do the back first. I like to do the back first because sometimes when you're doing stuff like this, the second part always turns out better than the first part. I don't know why. You know what it's like. So what I always do is try and do the back, glue the back first. Then if you make a little mistake, you learn from it. You might have put on too much glue or this or that, and then you can do better on the front. But because I have backed my sewing onto a piece of felt, it's not going to soak through. The glue is not going to soak through, which is really helpful. Okay, so I've just got some tacky glue here. It's just like a no brand stuff. The tacky glue is pretty good, I find. Even the Kmart brand is good. I use the Kmart brand a lot. That's this one, the Anko, and I find it just as good as any other brand. So I'm just going to, I think the tacky glue is just like white glue, but just without water. It just sort of seems like that. But I'm just going to put a generous amount on. And then because I've already kept this side clipped on, I can just go ahead then and lay that down. Now before I do the edges, I'm going to clip that on and come around and do this other side. Right, and then we'll lay that down, and remember it's going to be bumpy because you've got all this pretty stuff on it, so just press it all down. Yeah, that felt is really important when you're working on pretty fabrics like this to protect your pretty side. Right, then you can go ahead and do all the edges. I bought a new pair of fabric scissors and it's just like, everyone stay away from it. Now how am I going to do this? I just want to not go right up to that. I'm just going to take a little niche out like that, and right, it's a bit freaky cutting through your work, but got to trust the process. Right, now I've got this fabric, and these, I got these when I was in Melbourne, and they are actually placemats. So I want to put this inside, but I do have to cut it down. So that will be the inside cover. Now at this stage, before you put this down, have a think about your closure, because your closure will get glued in behind here. Okay, have a think about your closure, have a think whether you want a pocket in here, all those sorts of things. Alright, I pulled out two options of a closure. I pulled out some gold ribbon. If we look at that side, it's going to be quite shiny and blingy. Or I've pulled out this roll of tulle. We could put that on it and put a nice bead on the end. That's going to look good, I think. Alright, so we'll get this off, put our tulle, fold our tulle in half, because that's going to be our halfway point in our book. And let's get some glue on. So, as you can see, nothing has seeped through. You can't see any glue seepage on here. And this one, I guess the black stripes on this and the thicker fabric really helps with that. There's no glue seepage either on the front. It's looking really good on the front. And but I can feel that it's wet. Not wet, but I can feel it's not dry because it's still floppy. It's fairly floppy. But this is going to stay fairly floppy, but what I mean, I can still feel that sort of damp glue. I will pick out some gimp braid, and I might find something to put in here. And I'll get a piece of card made up for the signatures, the invisible signature spine, the invisible spine. And what I might do is wrap it in this so that it matches in, so that when I wrap it in this, or even just cover it, this might be enough actually, it all blends in with the inside fabric, so you won't see then the cardboard that it's attached to. So I will come back tomorrow when this is dry. I'm going to put some heavy things on this just so that gives it a little bit of pressure on top tonight, and I'll come back in the morning and we will add, like I said, the invisible, I'll show you the invisible spine, but we'll add the gimp braid and maybe a pocket or two, and go from there. Okay, so I'll see you in the morning. Okay, it is morning and I did change my mind on the closure. I put this other one on, you see me on camera, and then I put a little bead on it and everything, but it just wouldn't, when I tied it in a bow, it just wouldn't sit right. So I've changed my mind on that and went back to the gold that I originally thought I would try on here. Okay, before I went to bed, but I sat it up and I dried it like in this shape. Okay, so I made sure that everything was sitting properly, and I just flipped it like that into a C shape and let it dry like that. I still, like, it's been a really cold night and I still feel like it's not completely dry, but that's okay, it's all going good. I've cut a 1.5 inch piece here that comes a little bit shorter than the actual junk journal, and I've divided this into 3 and this into 3, and where all these lines cross, that's where I'm going to put a hole. So I've just got my crocodile and I'm going to put holes in the intersections there, and then I'll use this template as a guide for my signature holes when I've got my signature ready as well. So obviously this is only going to have 2 signatures in it, and I'll leave this side, I'll cover this side, so I'll leave this side so I can see the template on it, and I will cover this side with this fabric like that. I will sew my signatures to this instead of into the actual cover itself, and then I will glue that into there. Okay, so the signatures will come off that, not off the actual cover, and then it will be hidden then. Right, so I'll let that dry. Let's put that up there. And then in the meantime, what I've made that out of is just, you know, when you get a watercolor pad or something like that, it's just the backing off one of those pads. I always keep them. Now, I was thinking about a pocket, and I found this, some stretchy bling. Isn't this cool? So I'm just going to sort of calculate where that would be. Around about there. And I want to put this in. I mean, I might put 2 so that something can go down there as a and be supported. So something will sit in it like that. Just a Just a little sort of strap sort of thing. Right, I really do need to let that sit and dry. And then I will check it and see if it does need any more glue anywhere. I put a fair bit on there. Okay, so it's not the next morning, it's actually a couple of days later. And it's freezing here. It was -3. It's so cold. So I'm just going to show you what I've done. It took quite a while. Like I said, I changed up the closure because the what do you call it, the mesh that I had on it just wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. And it took, no joke, it took literally a couple of days or more for this glue to take. I don't know whether it was the weather or what. I'm putting it down to the weather because it's been freezing here. And it just didn't want to dry at all. So I've glued in my piece of board here for the hidden spine. So all my signatures will be sewn into this, just for you know, showing you sake, through these holes here. Okay, I'll pierce some holes through that fabric, and then that will get glued then into the junk journal. Okay, so it'll have a hidden spine, and it'll cover up those you know, those rough ends on that pocket. And then, so I've got to do that, but that's got to be done when I've finished the signatures, which I haven't even started yet, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So I've got my closure. I've got my closure. It's still in the stiff stage, you know, when you first put it together. When you start using it, it all starts to open up, and not open up, but just loosen up a little and do what it's supposed to do. I love that gold ribbon as a closure. And that is the front. That's the back. I didn't do quite as much on the back. I put this gorgeous big what do you call, big sequin on there. I bought them from it's got some glue on it. I bought them from Temu, I think. Yeah. So I didn't put as much decoration on the back that sort of stands up, because you know you want to have your book flat and not scratch on everything. But what I did on the front, I added these little sequins in here wherever there was plain sort of fabric, and plain in saying that everything's got a sparkle, nothing's plain here, but where there was space I added more bling. And I added little leaves to this section here. I put some buttons here, one of those sparkly buttons. And where else? I put some other little shaped sequins on here too. In that space, I put some buttons down here. And I put a big button in the middle up there. Is that all I did? I put some little sequins in here, and like I said, that sequin there. I put a row of sequins along here and some little ones in that space there. So that's pretty much what I've done to it. And I'm at the stage now where I just need to manipulate that spine so it is sitting where I want it to. So that is my blinged up cover. Now I do plan to fit this out and make it look beautiful inside. I've planned to put a lot of glitter pages in it, but and here's the but, I can't continue on this one because I've got 3 weeks to my daughter's wedding, and I've got some things I need to get done for that. So this is going to have to, the actual junk journal pages are going to have to sit on the back burner just for a little bit, and until my daughter's wedding is done, because I am doing a junk journal for her wedding, and I'll explain that to you in a minute. So yeah, so look, if there's any question, oh, I've got to get rid of that too. There's where I marked it. So remember, I marked it right in the beginning to give me a guide, and I did this with a disappearing pen, and it's so important. So then I can get rid of it with that disappearing pen. I also said that I was going to put some corners on it. I may not do that now. I have glued these corners together, and this glue is, oh, this weather is terrible. It's just, this glue is drying so slow. So slow. So I'll just check it out to see if I've got, I think I got rid of that mark on there. Don't think I can see any other marks. And I got rid of the mark on there too. Pretty sure I did. Alright. So that's why it's important to, when you're marking things, to use a disappearing pen on fabric. And then it saves some heartache down the track, especially if it doesn't go right on the mark. But I just love, let's have a close-up look at this cover. I just love it. Love how that looks down there. It's very elegant. And then these buttons are just beautiful. I checked out all my button stash. Love this flower in the center here. Oh, it's just all pretty. I just love it. It's just so sparkly. So, and then that is on the spine. I love how this turned out, and this is why I didn't want to do any sort of sewing that for my signatures, because I didn't want the strings to come on the outside of this and interfere with anything that I've put on there. Now you can still see that the cover is still quite soft and flexible, and I like that about this sort of cover. So I've just, oh, did I put that down? Oh, I must have missed sewing that. There's little bits and pieces that I'll check over it, and I'll just add just a tad of glue on there. That'll get it stuck down. But the 99% of this is all sewn. And so this is the back. Yeah, it's not as detailed. The back, I love this trim. Love it. And like I said, nearly all of the fabric is secondhand, and the trims secondhand, found at the Opshop, all given to me. Isn't that awesome? I just have I'm just so thankful to the people who have gifted me some beautiful things. Thank you so much. A shout out goes out to June for gifting me these beautiful, beautiful sparkly fabrics, which just gave me so much inspiration. And you know what, June, it helped. It kicked me out of that funk, I tell you. It really did. It just got me, my creative thoughts going, and my mum would love this. She would love it. So that is the journal. I love this big purple flower here. Right. And I just love how it's come out. It still needs to dry a little. Isn't that weird? It just must be the winter, because we have just so cold winters here. And like I said, our clothes, they just don't dry. I hung the last lot up, and it took 3 days for them to dry. So, so yeah, I have to sort of do it before I'm desperate for a pair of undies. Yeah. So that is what I have to set aside now, because I have to go on and make my daughter's journal. And my daughter is having her wedding in Beechworth in Victoria. If you know the little town of Beechworth, it's a beautiful little historic town, and it's famous for their bakery. And when she was looking around at where to have her wedding, we suggested she go looking Beechworth, and she found a beautiful little town hall to have the ceremony, and then a really quaint little function room in the back of a it's called the Ox and Hound. It's like a cafe type thing, but there's a function room out the back with beautiful lights and all that sort of stuff, and it only seats about just over 30 people, so it's only going to be a small wedding. Her and her fiance have been watching Downton Abbey. They love it, and I know Beth had previously watched Downton when it was on a while back, and then them bringing out number 3 has, stirred up everyone to rewatch it and all this sort of stuff. And she just loved it. She loved it from the beginning. Anyway, she's been constantly talking to me about Downton Abbey and how they love certain characters and stuff. And I said to her, what if, because we don't drink and we don't sort of do a lot of dancing, we sort of was looking for things to fill in time in the reception. So I suggested to her, why don't I make you a junk journal and pair it with an Instamatic camera and some bits and pieces like either glue or writing things like that, and the guests, because there's only about 30 people, the guests can take a photo of themselves at the table during the night, and it'll be passed around, and they can either put their photo in a pocket or stick it on a flap or this or that, and then the tags and things that are in there, they can write a little message to the bride and groom, and the front page will be reserved for the bride and groom. So everyone during the night, it'll be passed around, everyone will get a chance to contribute into this junk journal. And I said to her, why don't we make it in the theme of Downton Abbey? And she was like, oh, Mum, that's awesome. So this next 3 weeks, I need to make a Downton Abbey journal. Now, I was just like, oh, gosh, I wish I could get some books from somewhere. We looked in a couple of bookshops, like, brand new ones. They said, oh, we didn't really have anything in. And then I remembered over in Albury there was a second-hand bookshop. It's only open on certain days. And I got my husband to pop in there while he was over that way for work. And he said, do you have any Downton Abbey books? She said, yes, I do actually. I've got a whole stack of them, but they're in our storage unit, but I can bring them over. And so she was open the next day as well. Every time I'm over there, I've always missed her being open. And this bookshop is bigger than I expected. I was just like, mind was blown. Now, they aren't Opshop prices, but these 3 books came to $30. And I thought, well, that's pretty good for something that I specifically want to use and in a hurry. So I picked out, she had probably a dozen books. She had probably 3 or 4 of this book. And if you're wanting to do a Downton Abbey, I would definitely get this book. It's called The Secrets and History Unlocked of Downton Abbey. And I would, if I only had the choice of one book, I would get this book. Okay, to use as my ephemera and pages and all that sort of stuff. I got this book because I thought, I'm not going to cut this one up because they love the characters in Downton Abbey. And this one's called The Wit and Wisdom of Downton Abbey. And this is the book place. It's called Buy the Book. Good as new books, and they're beautiful. They're beautifully set out. When she's got them in her shop, they're covered. They look really beautiful, and I guess that's the why they're got a little bit higher price on them. But there's the info if you want to scan any of that or take a screenshot. So obviously she has, yeah, she's got a website, email. She's got Facebook page there as well. Shop online as well. So if you want to, if you're after something specific, this could be a good place to look. Right, so the 3 books that I got was this one, The Wit and Wisdom of Downton Abbey, and this one I just loved because it had the different characters and things they said during the series and all that sort of stuff. And I thought this would be a great book just to slip in the back of the junk journal that they can look through and read and stuff. So I'm not going to, although there's some beautiful pictures in here, I'm not going to take this book apart. This will be a great book just for their enjoyment. Okay. So that's that book. Come War and Peace, Downton Abbey still stands and the Crawleys are still in it. So it's yeah, this is just a little fun book to add to it. Alright, I'll show you this book then. I want to use this picture on the front here. This one is the official companion to the Complete 6 series. Okay, she only had one of these in stock, and it's just a plain cover. But there's lots of stuff in here. I mean, I could make a few junk journals out of these 2 books. There's gorgeous pictures in here. So many gorgeous pictures. Pages that I can use as pages in a junk journal, big pages. So much stuff in here. See, that would look gorgeous as a page in a junk journal. So I'm not going to go through every single page, but there is so much amazing stuff in here. And this one's cool because it's got the whole 6. See, look at that. That would be gorgeous as a big spread page. And I think that, is that in, is this? Yes, it is. It's bound in by thread, which is great because I'll be able to unpick those pages. Beautiful big pages in this one. So this is pretty much a picture book, and that's what I was after. I said to Dave, I'm only after picture books. Picture books for this this junk journal. And so yeah, I would definitely get this book. That one's just, this one here is just a fun one to add to the junk journal, but these ones are going to be the working pages of my junk journal. Isn't that a stunning picture? Stunning. Oh, I love that Christmas one too. Okay, so that is, oh look at that. I love the big picture of Downton Abbey here. Gorgeous. That can be some of the front pages of the junk journal. Now, when we were in England, we visited Highclere Castle. This is Highclere Castle in England, and we were so excited. It was Christmas time. We didn't get to go inside because there was a Christmas event on, but we got to walk around this stunning property in England and see Highclere Castle. It's just amazing. You come around the pathway, the bushes and that in the pathway, and then it opens up to this gorgeous building, and you just, takes your breath away. It was just amazing. And the year that we were there, was Downton Abbey was really freshly watched and everything. So gorgeous. So that is one book. And then this book, which I say, if you're going to do it out Downton Abbey, get this book. She had about 3 or 4 copies of this book. This one is totally worth it because it has old-fashioned ephemera in it. Look at this. I love that. I might even use that as the cover. I love that it's got this embossed thing on here. Love it. And look at the crowns on here. on the start page. Love this page. Look at it. There's so many gorgeous, gorgeous things in this book. Now, this book has got, like I said, it's got old ephemera in it too. Not just the movie or the series. It has got, now let me find some. It has got all this sort of stuff. You know, old ephemera, and advertising, and I just love that this has got that included in this book. Let me see if I can find some more. I love that there's a behind the scenes in the back of this as well. See, it's got all this sort of stuff in it. All the stuff that we love to put in junk journals. And that's what I was excited to get this book. She said, what did she say to me? She said, oh, I knew you'd pick this book, this one. But when I seen this one, I thought, yeah, this is probably the more important book for just the ephemera side of it. So you've got these old pictures, which are just amazing. Let's see if I can find some more. See, look at this. Love it. Absolutely love it. And so this will go all through. Look at that. Look at that amazing picture. This is going to go through the junk journal. And for my junk journal, I want to have, like I said, flaps and tucks and all that sort of stuff, so that whoever takes their Polaroid photo, if they don't want to stick it where you see it as soon as you open a page, they can stick it in a poke it in a flap or a tuck or an envelope for Beth and Tom to discover later. So I'm really excited to make this. Really excited. I just love all this old ephemera in here. It's just beautiful. I'll try and show you a little bit more, because this, if you're interested in making something like this, I would definitely get this book. Now, I seen this book on eBay for about $10. So I'm paying $30 for the three. $10 on eBay was pretty good, but then you've got to pay postage. But, you know, if you're desperate for something, you're going to pay it anyway. Look at that. Isn't that a stunning photo? So I just, yeah, I reckon, see these pages I sewn in too. Yep. And I reckon, yeah, if you had a couple of these books, if you're really keen on it. Look at the lovely writing down there. Isn't that amazing? There's just some stunning stuff in here. And you know what? By using this book, I could make it this size, use the pages like, you know, just take out the threads in here, and I know I will have smaller pages in here, but that doesn't matter. I'm going to add some smaller pages into it. I just love this size. I love the book, love the structure of the book and the color, and I just love all these old photos in here and this old the old pictures that you can use for ephemera. I love how these pictures look like put in a new, you know, as old photos with the deckled edging on them. Beautiful. Oh, I love the castle in the background. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. That is just stunning. Absolutely stunning picture. I said to Beth, if you could honeymoon anywhere, where would you go? And she said, I'd go to England. We loved England. We loved it when we went there as a family. It because my mum came out from England on the boat with her family as a little a little baby in her mum's tummy. So, yeah. And we just felt at home there. We really did. We just really loved the place. It felt like these were our roots. So I am really keen to get this junk journal going, and I might bring you along with me and show you what I'm going to be doing. I think, and I hope, I love the era. The era is in the 1920s, in the flapper era. The costumes are just stunning costumes. Absolutely stunning costumes. So, see, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, so many. Look at that. There's so many beautiful pictures in this book. It's just 100% worth getting. If you love Downton Abbey and you love that era, beautiful. So, because they love the series, I think I will make the junk journal this size, and it'll give people plenty of room then to put their photograph, and love this, and add flaps and things as well. Oh, it's just stunning. I just love it all. Look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, I just love all those old pictures. And this, it's great that it's got these old pictures in here, because you can tie in other pieces of ephemera with it. They don't all have to have the pictures of the Downton Abbey characters. You can add in your own ephemera in this era as well, which I just love about this book, because it's tying in all these pictures that aren't Downton Abbey in with the characters. Just, I love that about this book. And like I said, that you would definitely use this book. Isn't it gorgeous? Because you know what, that era wasn't all about Downton Abbey. There was so many other, this is just one family in that era, and I just love how, yeah, it brings in the old ephemera into this book. Love this. Love how it's got this crown and everything that ties in the whole book. Oh, it's got the family tree thing. Oh, this is just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Right, so they are the 3 books I'll be using in here. I've also got some other bits of ephemera which I'll show you. And I pulled this off another book, and I thought I could use that in here, maybe with a different picture in it. I found these pictures in a book that I found at the Opshop on England, different parts of England, so I'll include that in here. I found these pictures in a book of that sort of flapper era, and look at this, gorgeous pictures in here from different books that I've found. Love this picture, and it doesn't need to be Downton Abbey, because there'll be plenty of pictures of Downton Abbey in there. There was also pictures like this that when I gleaned out pictures out of books, these were left over, so I thought they would look good as just parts in a page. Love this, the 20th century, the luxury of freedom. There was these advertising bits and pieces, and then I had this also, I found this at the Opshop, and it was just a whole book of pages and ephemera. And so what I did was cut it up. Where is it? So I would cut that into little, you know, pieces of ephemera that I could put in pockets and things. Oh, I've got all sorts of things attached to me. I've got some tea or coffee dyed paper in some of the patterns that I did just this last summer gone. And I thought those sorts of patterns would tie in with that Gatsby type theme. And then I've got this sort of paper because you know, they were business people as well, and lacy bits, and yeah, so I've got all that sort of ephemera that I did during summer is going to come in so handy in this book as well. And that is, these were like they're all stencils, but they were like, you know, stencils that you would put on a corner thing or something like that. So I've got those tea dyed papers, they are going to go in. I've got this sort of paper that came from a it was a book of, let me see if I can find it, and I might even use the blue in here. I don't know whether this said New York 1957, but this was put out in 89, but the prints are 1957, so there's the 50s, but I think they still would be okay. I love this blue background. So they're wrapping papers. Aren't they gorgeous? But it was in a book, so I ended up picking this one out of there because I thought that was pretty. And the rest of that book, the rest of this was a little book, had all these papers. So I took some of them out and cut them down a little. And I thought they look beautiful. I also picked a few what do you call it, music papers as well, because they did a lot of dancing and that sort of stuff back then. I also found, these are women's weeklies, but it is Australian, but I don't mind that, and so I'll put some of that in there too. And there was this one. This one's a Christmas one, so I'll put a few of them in there. I found, oh, these are the offcuts of that paper, which I'll use as well. Look at that gorgeous picture. There's bits and pieces that I found in other books too that I have. Gorgeous. And this. So I'll use bits and pieces of all this stuff that I found as well. And there's some more of that ephemera. So they are the pages and the bits and pieces that I want to add to this. And I'll probably add even more, just depending on, I need to put in at least a certain amount of pages, enough for the guests to put their things in. So that's the aim. That's the aim of this journal make that I'm doing, and I have to really get on with it. I've also got some of the other ephemera. I've got this sort of stuff. I love this. These are all my thoughts, putting my thoughts together. Old little tiny buckles, these sorts of things. I've got this gorgeous necklace that I want to include maybe on the cover. And this was in just a scrap bag of something. Isn't that beautiful? It just looks like that era, that flapper era. I also have a necklace in here that I really want to add onto the cover. This was in just a scrap bag as well, just a beautiful old necklace. And then I've got all these things that I found at the Opshop. All these what do you call them? They're sort of like brooch things, you know. I have seen someone make a downstairs bell or an upstairs bell with some of these thimbles, so that could be an interesting concept too. So they're the sort of hardware little bits and pieces I've got together, and this as well, to do on the front. So I hope you'll come along with me on my Downton Abbey journal. Yeah, I need to get on with it really bad. And my daughter took me shopping yesterday, and I found my outfit for the wedding. I'll put a little sneak peek in here. And I was so excited. It was just so beautiful. When I tried it on, I tried one dress on, and then I was like, yeah, that's a really fun, it was a fun dress. And if it was a summer wedding, I probably would have picked that one. But because it's a winter dress, I picked a burgundy colour. And yeah, it was the second dress I tried on, and I was just like, oh, Beth, I'm not trying anymore on, this is the dress. So she said, oh, Mum, I've got my little tear in my eye. So we had so much fun. We picked that, then we went shopping more, and I found some shoes, and so much relief. It's just such a relief, because I'm not a dressy up person, so it was such a relief to find my dress and know that I'm ready. I just got to go get a haircut and put a bit of colour through my hair, and I'll be ready. So that is the plan. Look, I hope you come along with me, and if you want to, like, share and subscribe to get all the updates on this journal. And after the wedding, I will finish, I promise I will finish this journal, and I'll have this journal for sale, and I will get on then with my other one. Here's the plain cover. So I've got a few journals I need to finish and get going on them. All right, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to do this. I haven't got deep into my junk journaling for a little while now, because I've been so stitched up in all these other things I've been playing with. So it's pretty exciting to pull out all my junk journaling things and get into it. All right, take care. Stay warm. It was freezing here. Like I said, the sun has just come out on our bed, and Pickle is still under the blankets. As soon as that sun butt starts to warm up the blankets, he'll be out sunbaking. Alright, take care, and I'll see you soon for a new video. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. I appreciate all of that. I appreciate your likes. I appreciate your comments. That helps my channel so much. And I will see you soon. Bye.